filmed live in front of a studio audience. It's the SideQuest, your weekly journey into the beautiful world of video games and video game culture with your wonderful hosts, myself, Dolly Domofsky. To my left, your right, the one, the only Zach Quest. Yay! Yay! To my right, your left, Taylor. Blah 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 blah. Bliss. Ooh, get out of there. Ooh, spam. Hello.
Tired of him already.
Hello. He's like, I'm done. Forget it. I'm out of here. We're coming at you live from the Hive. Oh, I like that. Live from the Hive. Or something. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Lovely. Great. Fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's it?
Don't got anything to complain about.
Do I have to be better than that?
Please
tell me that's not required.
You could just be good enough. You guys ready for eating a lot of turkey this week?
No, turkeys are too expensive. I'll never eat another one again.
Gobble. Have you guys had any early Thanksgiving events?
No,
not really. No, Thanksgiving really isn't a thing.
We don't do that here.
You're like, we are Mormon. We don't celebrate the giving of the thanks. I don't know what that means. I just made shit up there. No, we've already had a Friendsgiving, and then we had my parents did Thanksgiving on yesterday, and then we're going to Chicago for actual Thanksgiving. I'm gonna hang out with the one, the only Ryan Gann.
Hi, Ryan.
Really? Hi, Ryan. Yeah, we're gonna be rocking, enjoying some time together. We're gonna go check out some wrestling. See, I was gonna brag to JJ, but guess who's not here? JJ.
Oh yeah. JJ's not here. Yeah.
He don't care about us.
Don't care about him.
But yeah, we're gonna hang out on Wednesday. I think I'm heading out tomorrow afternoon to Chicago. So yeah. But irregardless, let's get into the actual gaming stuff. No, you don't want to? No?
There's only one gaming news, and it's amazing.
It's amazing. So I'm going to share this wonderful bit of gaming news that I thought, and Zach thought as well, that it was totally worth sharing. Our good friend and yours, Yuji Naka, has been arrested as part of.
Oh yeah, this is the only thing we're talking about.
Insider trading investigation after he went off about Squeenix.
Man, that man talked a lot of
You can't talk shit like that with a hat like that.
I mean, he wasn't embezzling from Square Enix, but
your microphone is gone.
God, it was just so much shit talking.
Taylor, you unplugged your microphone.
You unplugged your mic again, Taylor. There you go. That sounds
talk.
Better. Say something.
Hello.
No, still two. It's like two. It was fine. Then all of a sudden, you went to.
I know.
There you go.
How about that? Okay, yeah, it's because I moved the cord, and I haven't bought a new cord yet.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at that face. He's a beautiful man.
Look at this devil over here.
Look at this devil.
I just think it takes a lot of fucking balls to shit talk the company that you basically stole from. I mean, it's stock, so it's not quite stealing, but
well, he literally stole from them by selling them a game that's like not.
That did happen. That's true.
Yes, that is true. So he's arrested in relation to the insider trading investigation around the Dragon Quest Tact or whatever.
Not even like
12.
Not even an interesting Dragon Quest game.
The Dragon Quest Treasures? No. 12? No. What Dragon Quest game? The mobile game that nobody's playing. That's what he did.
Actually, Zach, pull up the numbers. How many people are playing it?
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
Dragon Quest Tag player.
So he was part of the scheme that purchased $336,000 in shares of stock in Aiming, which is the name of the developer that created Dragon Quest Tact, right before the game was announced. Naka was approximately before it was announced. He was working for Balan Wonderworld. You guys remember that gem?
I don't.
$7.99 is my point of purchase. When it gets that
Nope.
point,
It's got to be lower. It's
gotta be
it's
lower.
5 or less. It's got to be under 5.
Now it's $4.99. I agree. Now it's $4.99. 10,000 shares for $20,000. So, man, tell us, Zach.
Oh man, is this man going to go to jail over $20,000?
I know, right?
Like, I'm trying to see if there's any like number. The only number I can find is it had 10 million downloads in Japan in like 2020, which is a lot.
That's not bad.
I don't know.
Yeah. How many downloads did Balan Wonderworld have?
5.
18.
18. Oh man. So yeah, Yuji. Ooh, lordy.
It's also the other side of this that's crazy is he created Sonic, which is like
Yeah, it's weird. What the F? Homeboy created one of the more popular games out there, and which apparently the new one is enjoyable.
I don't think he had much to do with it.
No, he
definitely
did not.
not.
He did not. Hey, I did want to say hi to everybody coming in from Hive and from Mastodon, where we are now also posting links. And that's basically all. I don't think you could stream to those yet, but hey, former Twitter peeps. But yeah, the man sold.
Yeah, when are we going to start live streaming to TikTok?
We totally can't. That's probably a pretty good idea, to be honest. Because that
if you want complete randos to actually tuning into the show, that's going to be the best shot we got.
If you want people actually tuning into the show, that's probably the best chance we have. Yes.
If you want 12-year-olds to tune into the show, that's your best.
Yeah.
Your best.
Wait.
I'm going to say no to that one. But yeah, anyways, the most entertaining news of the week by far was this. It's like if Elon Musk shit talked Twitter and then they
spent like an exuberant amount of money to buy it, and then repeatedly tried to gut it, only to try and realize that it's going to be exactly the way it was before because it's the only way to run a business.
Yep,
something like that.
I think that happened.
Sorry, I'm still recovering from this nasty cold that just kicked back up again. There was one other little bit of news that kind of showed up earlier today or yesterday, but it was today. We were kind of chatting a little bit about it. It was Phil Spencer mentioned that Microsoft was looking to get a 10-year contract with or extend Call of Duty for 10 more years onto PlayStation platforms. And so, as we say over here on SideQuesting,
I follow him on Hive.
I followed him on Hive.
Really?
Yeah. So it was, obviously this is a fun saga. It's in the middle of the Activision buyout stuff, and PlayStation is using Call of Duty as their the pin on the grenade to try to blow this sucker up. It's going to happen. It's not going to not happen. They're going to buy Activision. They're just going to be tweaks and adjustments here and there. But
listen, I mean, I think Sony is in their right to to lay down the pressure wherever they can. I think this is good pressure to lay down, and Microsoft should face concessions when you're trying to buy out a player as big as Activision Blizzard King. So,
well, it's like, I don't know. It's like, obviously, like, that's how I feel, is like, obviously they're going to keep the rights to it. Because, like, why wouldn't Microsoft want the best-selling console to have the most sales, like,
because if they don't put it into a contract and they don't lay it out in public, then it makes it easier to play the mind game, like, on the business. And so they want that, as like, they want both sides, right? And so both them and Sony wants it to be public, because when official statements are made, it gives them certain amounts of leverage. Microsoft doesn't want it to be public, because then it gives them certain amounts of leverage in the same way. So they're just going to keep going back and forth on playing the pressure game. I don't think either one is going to change the will of the fans of the people that buy from either one of the platforms. It's not going to matter. The amount of people that are going to get upset about whether, like, look at how much fucking Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 sold over the last 2 weeks, or when it was, I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Over
like,
a billion, basically.
They don't, like, the vast majority of people that are buying Call of Duty based on its name don't care about the ongoing saga of whether or not there's a contract. It doesn't matter to them. It matters to the weird fanboys on both sides, and that's it. So, unless there's some like really egregious thing that pops up in terms of a PR blunder, it's not going to change anything.
I am very curious to see what the sales numbers are going to be for Call of Duty, broken down by platform. Obviously, you won't get the downloads, but you may see retail purchases, and I think that that could benefit Sony in negotiating this contract. And I posted in the Discord. They should treat Call of Duty as Minecraft, but they're not. They're going to treat Warzone like Minecraft, because Warzone is where they're going to make $1 bajillion going forward. That's their
and Warzone being a free to play title was always going to make it onto all the consoles anyway.
Exactly.
It was never going to not.
Yep.
And what instead will happen is the actual SKU of the game, the SKU, not the not SKEW. The actual product SKU is going to shift, right? And so instead what they'll do is they'll decouple the single player entirely. The single player will be offered, and who knows, they might even shift the entirety of multiplayer over to a free-to-play
I
style.
can see it. I can see it.
Where it's Warzone and multiplayer free-to-play available on all platforms. Single player is included in Game Pass. And obviously multiplayer is, as I said, I would say it'd be free to play. So something along those lines is probably what it'll end up going, instead of this weird thing where everybody's going to get convinced that Microsoft is going to hoard. Like, if they're going to hoard anything, it's going to be single player. They don't want to remove multiplayer from anybody.
Multiplayer is where the money is at. I mean, granted, people are buying Call of Duty, but they also bought it. This new one, they bought it strictly for the multiplayer, or the majority bought it for the multiplayer.
No, instead what you do is you sell the single player as its own separate SKU, and what it does is include a bunch of stuff for the multiplayer. You buy this, and you get a bunch of stuff for the multiplayer. You get a bunch of stuff for Warzone for this season, and whether or not it's exclusive to the single. I mean, if I'm a person making and selling COD and just trying to make money, I would make that stuff exclusive. Because that's what you do with that stuff. And boom, you don't care. You don't care. I mean, if I'm Microsoft selling COD, I'm letting Sony pay me money so that they can have exclusive stuff on the PlayStation side. I don't care.
Bring it. I'd just be curious with if they make another World War II COD game, how that works into Warzone and that kind of stuff, right? Would you be able to
just don't make another one ever again?
Just don't make another one ever again. I think news-wise,
that's my opinion on it.
News-wise, that's basically it. Again, a very light week last week. There were big releases. I think there were like little news bites here and there, but
there was one game, small game.
Nobody talked about at all. Never heard of the game last week.
No,
there was last week was the chonky Pokemon game, which we're probably not going to talk about this week because JJ.
Did that come out?
The Pokemon
officially,
game
that officially came out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the majority of staff has the game. You may be the only one that does not technically own the game, Taylor.
Good.
Again, although you haven't bought a Pokemon game since Red and Green, I think, or Red.
No, the last one I bought was. Did I buy X? I bought X, Pokemon X.
Okay, I have X as well. Yeah, that was back in the day when I would play like 3 hours, 4 hours of Pokemon and think, man, this is just not for me. It just moves at a snail's pace. And now I'm finally at the point where I can realize that this game still moves at the snail's pace and it's still the same game. But yeah, we'll talk more with JJ next week about Pokemon. But we do have
he needs to be here.
He needs to be here. We don't want to miss out. But Do you want to talk about some games that we have been playing? Some review games. Excuse me.
yeah.
We've been playing. And I'm gonna let Zach go first this week
Ooh, cool.
on some of the stuff. So I've got some videos. Which one you guys should talk about first?
I'll probably should I start with I'll start with the one that I'm playing for fun first. So I'll start with Pentiment, which is Pentiment it's a really good game.
Is it esoteric?
Yeah, it's very. So it's like so Pentiment is a side-scrolling like adventure detective game, and so it takes place in this town called, I have it down here, Tassing. And Tassing is kind of like it takes place in 1518, so it's kind of at the end of the old like church, where like the Reformation's about to happen, the Protestants are starting to come out and stuff, and Tassing is kind of in the outskirts of where they at Bavaria. So they're kind of like they're not as caught up technologically or as far scientifically as other places are. And the main character you play, his name is Andreas, and he just left college and he got a job here to like work on paintings and like books and stuff, because that's what priests did back in the day. They would take actual pieces of literature and like draw pictures on them, and that's like his thing. So he's doing that, and one day a person gets murdered, and you just kind of take it upon yourself, because your friend, who's like this old monk, gets blamed for it, and you kind of take it upon yourself to investigate the crime. But what's really interesting about this game is it takes place over 25 years. So each act is a decade kind of in the character's life, and there isn't a canonical.
Real quick to figure out to resolve the issue.
Well, like there isn't a canonical murderer, so there isn't a person who is the actual person that everyone's going to come to the conclusion of, because there's so much information and so many conversations and things you can do within the game that every person who plays the game could potentially come to a different conclusion of like who's the person who did it. So you just kind of spend like 20 hours, the game is pretty long, of like doing investigations, taking clues that you've found or a conversation that you've had, and just trying to piece together this murder. It's just really it's really good. It's really well written. It's written by the guy from Obsidian. He directed and wrote New Vegas, and the last two, like I forgot what it's called, Pathfire or something like that, Pathfinder something. They're last like two like top down games. He wrote those. What's really interesting though about this is it kind of takes this historical moment and kind of uses it as like it's not fictional, because it's like an actual like historically accurate thing, but it feels that way because it's so out of place to what we're used to for like mysticism and Christianity and history and all these things. It feels so foreign, but it's not, because it's like an actual like thing. And I'm really into like the old school Christian mysticism and like the breakings of the church and all those things. So I'm really into that. So this game's kind of like has all of this stuff in there that I love, but then also like has the things I love about games where it's like just it just asks you to be engaged and to like approach it and just kind of engage with it however you want. Like, so there's a lot of appendices and character bios and things that you have that you just kind of you have a book that you flip through, and you have notes of things you're keeping track of and people you need to talk to, and there's appendices of like descriptions of things that like are relevant that you might not know about, or like just like people and places and things. So it's just really tactile, I guess. It's just really just well done. I like it a lot.
Style. I love the art style.
And the art is historically accurate. It's that that 1600s kind of like early, not early, but like late modern Christianic, painting stuff. Yeah, so it's really, really, really good. I can keep saying that
Wood
over and
carving
over.
style painting. Yeah, no, this
Yes.
is Microsoft has 2 first-party releases this year, and one was as a third party. Was it the Tokyo Ghost
Oh,
thing?
and they had
And this one.
they had that, this, and Grounded.
Oh, that's
So
right. Grounded. Yeah, it was in early access. Yeah, but yes.
yeah.
Correct.
So yeah,
this is, to me, this what I think of the point I was getting at was this game feels like obviously it's not a major AAA giant ass release, but I would love to see Microsoft do more of these kinds of games for Game Pass because it lets the teams experiment. It lets them work on projects in between Fallout New Vegas versions and Starfields and stuff. And it's not filler for for a thing like Game Pass, but it just adds more flavor to a service like that. Like, you're not just stuck waiting. It's, okay, I've played every game. I got to wait for Starfield. Should I play Mass Effect again? Should I play, Fallout 4 again? It's like, no, I can play this cool little game and then be interested in it. I think this kind of stuff helps, grow Game Pass more so than the AAA games, I guess. So.
It's so cool to me that Microsoft funded this game, that like Phil Spencer saw the potential from Obsidian. The guy who pitched the game, he's been trying to get it done for like 6 or 7 years or something. So he's been pitching.
Do you think Phil said that people from Obsidian, you have to be hardcore, and either you're going to be developing this or you're going to click yes to stay and develop this, or you are being walked out of Game Pass? Is that
I think he walked.
No, for sure. They said you have to hire. He said you have to be hardcore. You have to hire at least 3 historians, and pay them money for their services. Otherwise, you can't make the game.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. I was gonna say that they had historians on staff, and the team's pretty small. It's like 15 people, so it's pretty much like an indie team. They got funded by Microsoft, but it's not really an indie team. It's just like a guy that works at Obsidian was able to grab a team and kind of make the game that he's always wanted to make. Yeah, it's the breadth of this game, the technical aspects of the writing, and just everything that the game allows you to do, like finding new information.
Dastardly, it's a nun.
That's crazy. Great. Discovering new pieces of information, how to use that information, where to apply it, what to look at, the freedom it gives you to like kind of walk around and just do your own thing and not really be like as optimal, just kind of living in this world. It's really, it's just well thought
such
out.
A different kind of game, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's very Disco Elysium. That's it's
esoteric.
Like, it's very esoteric. Yeah, no, it's very Disco Elysium. Very like I don't know. That's the only like direct comparison I can really compare it to. Is that, and maybe
it's
like,
about that story. It's about the story and the story, how it all weaves together.
It's about the story and how you build your character through choices and decisions, and
I like that, choices and decisions. Yeah.
So it's great. It's I played it for like 8 hours today.
It's on my list to play over the break if I can.
So good. Yeah, and then the other one is a review game. So
what are you playing for review?
Somerville. This game is okay. I really want to know like how to like talk about like, because like it's from the executive producer of Limbo and Inside. So I don't know like how much. I don't know what happened to the Playdead team. Did they break up? Did something happen? Is this like the runoff of that? Like what? I don't know what happened personally with the team to make this happen. But yeah, so I just don't know if I should say it's their next game or if it's his next game, but it's very much styled in the way of those games. It's very much like a Limbo and Inside styled game. Basically it starts out, you're a family coming home from getting groceries. You're in this like idyllic like Ireland, like countryside or whatever, and you like go to bed. You don't go to bed. You go watch TV, and then you wake up, but you're playing as the baby. So you're playing as the baby. You get introduced to the controls, and there's like lights flashing outside. You're like, oh, what's happening? Eventually, aliens, like a spaceship crashes through the house, and then you start playing as the dad, and you get knocked out trying to save your family, and then you wake up, and the rest of the game is like you wake up and you like there's an alien like impaled in your basement. You touch his hand, you get his power, and that's it. You just kind of just go and try and find your family. It's so if you've played Limbo, if you've played Inside, you're kind of aware of how those games.
So before we get, what's the link between Playdead and the Somerville dev?
It's like I was saying before, it's the producer of Limbo and Inside.
Okay.
Produced this game, so I don't know. That's what I was saying is like I don't know what happened to the Playdead team because they haven't made anything in forever. Did something happen? They split off and they
have a game in the works that they teased in 2017, and they announced a partnership with EGS. So that they have another game coming.
Interesting.
Last update was 2020, so who knows what COVID did to it. But anyway, sorry, I just started to go down a rabbit hole, and I was like.
It's Dino Patty, one of the co-founders. I think in 2017 he said he was forming Jump Ship. I'm just reading this from Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. So Dino is the one that left.
He wanted to leave and start do his own thing and do something different.
Gotcha.
He wanted to do his own thing, so he made the thing he was making before. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
So what? Yeah. So if you've played Limbo and Inside, you're kind of just aware of how those games. They're walking simulators, but in a way that they're interactive, I guess. There's puzzles, there's interesting things along the way, but inherently they're kind of just like an experience. Like they're pretty easy to play. Limbo's a little bit harder. But yeah, so what I think this game lacks that the other two have is like an interesting story. Like Inside, you're a lab rat kid who like turns into like an amalgamation of creatures and you kill humans. Like that's cool. Limbo, you're like in the afterlife trying to like go past like all the puzzles of where you're like a little kid getting decapitated and killed. Like that's cool. You're trying to figure out physics and things. This game is just like go find your family. There's aliens and that's kind of it, right? So the inherent puzzle here is you have your hand, you can change things, make them solid or liquid, and liquid isn't like you can walk through it. There's like this material that looks alien that you can see that you just kind of can change. That's just the puzzles. Some of them are pretty difficult. I want to say they're hard, but they're like, oh, like I have to think about this instead of dragging this from this point, pressing this button, kind of, going. But I think the biggest issue with the game really is it doesn't like work consistently. Even after a couple of patches, it's still like I watched some reviews just to be sure I wasn't the only one experiencing this, but a lot of people are saying it like is the physics or the tacticalness like whenever your character is walking around, he's touching things, like his hands are naturally going out to tell you, hey, I can grab this, or hey, this is something that's
it's kind of a neat idea. Lets you know
physical. Yeah, it's like Uncharted, like all that. So Limbo does this and Inside also does this, but they do it differently where like they grab stuff when they're up close to it. This guy just touches everything. So it's like you don't so it's like he'll touch something like over here and then you'll press the grab button, he'll just like float over here and grab it. So like the trigger is over here and the actual grab is over there. So it's like yes, I'm playing on Steam. So it's very loose in its rules of like what is tactile and what is dressing or like what is there to like not be messed with. And then that also combines with the physics engine. The physics engine it's all it's not trying to remember the word. I think I have it. Procedural animation. So everything is procedurally generated for the characters, for things in the world, but it's very loose, like I'm saying before. So it's like it doesn't feel grounded. Like things get hit and they just fly away, or like your guy, he'll just like his body will bend like he's made out of rubber. Like there's just like weird spots where the game just kind of breaks. It like breaks that figurative wall that you kind of have above. It's like, oh, this is a video game I'm playing now. Or like you'll be in a puzzle and he'll bend a certain way where he'll fall off of a platform or like fall through a puzzle. It's just like, okay, I have to restart the puzzle because the game is just doing this to me. That really gets in the way of the experience. Like Limbo is, I hate having to compare this to two of some of the best games of all time, but it's like that's what we're working with. Those games have very hard set rules in the physicality and what you can touch and what you can do, and this is good, this is bad. And this game, it really isn't a lot of danger in that way. Like danger, like, oh, if I fall here, I'm going to die. It's more so like, oh, if I move this wrong, I have to restart the puzzle. Or oh, if I put this
Limbo and Inside were a little bit like that too, where it was more about, oh, I got to restart this puzzle section area.
Yeah,
even though you would die, but
yeah, the puzzle sections I would imagine were probably just a lot shorter because it was such a smaller game. I mean, that's a guess. I haven't played Somerville, so
yeah, Somerville's like 6 hours long. It's just there's a specific puzzle that I had issues with because it's physics based. Like you have to dip a bucket. So there's also the conclusions to a lot of the puzzles don't really make any sense. Just like, okay, this is the thing. But yeah, like, so one of the puzzles is like there's water that is covered in that goo that you can change and harden and stuff, and then there's a well across the other way, and it's attached to a rope. So you have to pull the bucket and the rope out to the water, and then slowly reel it in. But since it's procedurally generated, sometimes you're going to hit an angle a certain way, and the bucket just flies, and all the water goes out. So it's stuff like that. It's not like hard set rules, like I was saying before. It's like, oh, you could just get fucked over by the animations, and that kind of ruins the fun. But it's not a bad experience overall. It's pretty good. Like it's really fun. It's really good to look at. If you're into walking simulator puzzle games like this, it's definitely like you're gonna play it because it's just like. Yeah, but like it's
there's
fun
just not there's just not enough there's not enough out there for you that you're gonna skip this one.
Yeah, so it's still good, but it's a little finicky, I think is the right word. Could have been COVID development, I don't know. God of War had COVID development, and there's also some weird things in that.
Yeah, I don't think you can you can even use it as
No, I was just saying that even God of War had COVID development, and there's some weird things in that game as well. So like it's just kind of impacted everyone. So I don't know. It's definitely hinky and weird. It's on Game Pass, so if you have it, not hurting you to play it. It's definitely not the worst game on there, but
no, there's some stinkers on Game Pass, so don't worry about that.
It's not Pentiment.
Dude, nice. Yeah, just play Pentiment. It's really good.
All right. Well, I can talk about what I've been playing, and then we'll get into we'll wrap with Taylor on the Taylor's Retro Wrap.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it the Big Deck Energy with Taylor. We're gonna.
I got some deck energy this week. For sure.
All right. So, pardon me. I'm still recovering from this nasty cold, so I might be clearing my throat.
Oh, Dolly's talking. It's time to get another drink.
Oh, there you go. Is he gone? He's gone. All right. I'm playing the Steam Deck 2. No, just kidding. I'm playing a little game that we saw at PAX called Evil West. We got a review code for that this baby here. So I'll play the
weird looking game.
It is, but it isn't. It Eva West is by Flying Wild Hog. You might know them from games.
You're
like
playing it on Steam Deck too?
No. I'm the Part Dos, Steam Deck Part Deux is what the actual technical name is.
Oh, okay.
So it's not two. No, I'm playing it on the PS5. It by Flying Wild Hog, so they made Hard Reset and Hard Reset Redux and Devolver Land Expo and Shadow Warrior 2 and some other games. You may have seen their work. Anyway, so this is a third-person shooter set in the late 1890s, I want to say, right on the turn of the century.
Classic.
Classic steampunk. Steampunk
Jonah Hex.
Wild. Yeah, exactly. With vampires and demons and stuff. So kind of a good mix. Reminded me a lot, oddly, of The Order. You guys remember The Order? It was 1886.
And the aesthetic popped to me like The Order, yeah.
Yeah. It even has the same resolution.
So let me get through my spiel. So this is a big dumb popcorn game, and I abso-freaking-lutely love it. It is again, it's set in that era with vampires and crap, and the game starts like midway through the story, so the stuff has already happened. You don't even know where vampires came from. You just kind of assume that they've been there the whole time. Who cares? There is an arm gauntlet thing that can shoot electricity out of it. There are sawed-off shotguns. You can slide down, you can propel yourself down, ropes and stuff, and you can go through towns and just shoot people, actually people. So yeah, it's a big dumb popcorn game. It's all about just kind of big set pieces and just loud action. If there was a good way to describe this game, it's loud. This game is very loud, and I freaking love it for that. It's just such a palate cleansing type of experience. I love the visual style. It's definitely not like trying to be ultra realistic. It's got that Gears of War Unreal Engine, big upper bodies, big arms, like really skinny legs aesthetic to it, which is totally fine. A lot of little cool little details and stuff. They actually did a lot of work on the fidelity, like you can see the beard and all the stuff on the guns and everything. So even when the game is moving really fast, it's everything stays pretty crisp and pretty clean. The gist of it is that you have to hunt down these vampires and get to the bottom of why they've suddenly started, having a resurgence and all that kind of stuff. And so your character's father has invented this kind of electromagnetic gauntlet that lets you stop the vampires. They call it glamour, which is essentially the magic that the vampires use to create illusions and crap. And so what you can electrocute, look at that. That's a freaking awesome combo there. You can electrocute the vampires and the monsters and stuff. And during the combos. Thanks, Dad. Very much a combo based game. You see all different weapons there. So it's all about bam, bam, combo. You can start a combo by shooting. You can start a combo by uppercutting. You can start a combo by running into someone. You can start a combo by electrocution. You can start a combo by blocking. And so it's all about like creating combos and just taking on waves and waves of really cool looking beasts. And you could slice them in half, which is kind of badass. There's actually a counter for the amount of limbs that you've ripped off enemies in this game, which is pretty cool. I will say what I find really funny is that the different monsters and beasts in this game, you can electrocute them. They all seem to have human skeletons, which I find really freaking funny. So it's like there's like this weird, like anamorphic looking creepy crawly flying thing, and you electrocute it. It's got a human skeleton in. I think that's just badass. It's just a stupid little detail. But this is ripped out of the 360 PlayStation 3 era of games, in that it's just, let's put the technology, let's put the console to the max and just keep pushing you forward. And you're just kind of going from one room to the next and beating up monsters and going to the next room. There's not a lot of strategy to this game. It's very easy to figure out where you're going, because it's like Okay, you're in this area. Where do you go next? Look for the glowing chain. Okay,
I was gonna say, is it the answer is the next area?
the next area, and then you hop over the glowing. You go to the glowing chain, hop over it, and you're okay. Where do I go next? Oh, look, another glowing chain. Okay, let me go to the glowing chains. Are the notification system of getting you in between the monster rooms, which is really funny. And they're everywhere. It's like, okay, I get it. You could have actually designed these worlds to be funneling you in a different way, but no, it's a glowing chain. Like you'll be in the middle of a town square with buildings everywhere, and then you just see a glowing chain off
Mr.
the side. It's
President.
like, yep, the president is in this. Yep. But yeah, you kind of it's not going to be a memorable game by any means, but I think it's landing at a perfect time where it's the anti Ragnarok, it's the anti Pokemon. It's just like just go in and just blow shit up, rip apart vampires, and have a good time doing it. The story is completely not memorable. I don't care. Characters are really cool. Designs are really cool. I'm having a blast with the game. I'm probably like 3/4 of the way through it right now. And it really hasn't changed from the onset until now. It's still kind of the same, use the same tool set and go through there. But one thing I do kind of like is how they make you, they kind of take the weapons that they've given you and they force you to be just a little bit more judicial, I guess, in how you utilize them, in that like they want you to have fun. So you don't really run out of ammo in anything. You can you don't run out of any ammo in your bullets. There's no ammo that you run out of in this electrical thing. You can restock it fairly quickly. But with the bullets, you get like starts you off with like 5 or 6 shots. And then you just have to reload. It's real simple. It's an infinite reloading system. But then to reload takes like 3-4 seconds. It kind of forces you. And I know every game has a reload mechanic, but they rely on quick reloads. Like you're trying to quickly reload, and no, the actual slow reload in this game becomes a part of the experience, which I kind of like. So yeah, it's just silly. It's it's a fun game. Again, it's going to be the kind of game that gets lost in time, but you'll remember the era. It's like, oh yeah, there were those kinds of games in the 360 era, and it's like we've missed these types of games for the last decade because PS4 and Xbox One tried to be like ultra realistic and push the envelope, and now it's just like, yo, just have fun, just do shit, just go have fun and just blow stuff up. And
yeah, indie games started to creep in.
Yeah,
and do all the stuff that these games used to do, which is
exactly.
just let you have fun. And then like, oh, we should do that again.
But yeah, I enjoy the combo system. I enjoy and I'm not a huge big combo system fan in games like this. Like, just let me upgrade my attack power and my health bar, and that's really all I need.
There's a lore tab.
There's a lore tab, which is basically
Zach's gonna play it. He's got it.
Yeah, you got to do it. It's not what you think, and it's exactly what you think. But it's just real easy to digest this game, real easy to understand, real easy to get into. I'm playing it just on average difficulty, and it's not providing me that much of a, I don't want to say challenge, because there is a challenge, because you get to areas where there's like hordes of enemies, or you fight some of those flying vampire winged dudes, and there is sort of a rhythm and a dance to fighting some of these guys. But if you die, you respawn right at the beginning of the battle, right before you walk in. So that's really kind of nice. You don't have to backtrack all the way through a level or to a save point. It's like, oh, you died. Go ahead, try it again. Cool, do have fun. But I was mentioning in Discord, they actually do have a permadeath mechanic where you can make it like to the end boss of this game, and if you have it set on true death mode, it basically means that if once you die, it's over. It wipes your save game. It says, sorry, you're done. Start from the very beginning. You lost. You're not restarting from anywhere. I think that's so badass and so old school that you don't get to see that too often. So yeah, Evil West, get it. it's a blast. I think it's on current gen and last gen and PC gen, and it's just stupid fun. And look, the guy has claws. There's no reason that this guy should have all of this gear on him, and it's so freaking heavy. Besides the fact that it's just big and clunky, but it's awesome. It's just stupid fun in this game. So yeah, go ahead, play it. Any questions? Because I
think I know about everything there is to know about the video game.
and it worked awesome at PAX East, and that is the opening.
This is honestly a great show floor game, because like
it really is.
When it's like monster room after monster room, you can really pick and choose, make a solid demo.
Yep.
It's a game where all of the enjoyment is in short bursts anyway, so you can just get an actual quality demo experience out of it. I'm not surprised that it feels very similar to what the demo was, which is a good thing, I would argue.
It's really gracious in the saves too, because it's like once I'm done playing, I just turn off the PS5, walk away, and I come back, and if I've started up another game, I'm just right back in that same spot. So it's really good at just pushing you forward to experience everything. It's almost like a really cool technical demo. When you kind of think about it, it's like, here's everything you could do. You just got to keep going forward and doing all this stuff. But I could see these types of things in, I don't want to call it bigger AAA games, because this is, this could be a AAA game down the line, this type of thing. But yeah, it's just good. It's a lot of fun. Evo West, man, play it. It's good.
Woo.
That's what I got. And yeah, Pokemans and some other stuff. But I want to hear what Taylor has been playing. And Taylor, you always come with the interesting stuff right now. You're kind of out of the taking a break from the full-on review stuff right now, so you can actually start enjoying things that you want to enjoy and not stuff that you're forced to play. Just tell me about some of these cool things.
Honestly, and in some cases, stuff that I feel obligated to play just because they're like new things in general. To be honest, it's a shocker that Persona 5 is one of the games that's on my list this week, because that game is like,
I bought it.
I don't think I'm. Why it's on Game Pass now?
Well, I like having hard copies of games down the line. So when it's off of Game Pass, and I'll be like, crap, I can't believe I missed it.
No, it'll get cracked by then. De novo won't last forever. But so the main thing that I put time into this week was PS2 games. The CRT effect is just in full swing. And I got my network loader for the PS2 really up and running, and that it's just a very, very powerful tool for backfilling stuff. I mentioned, I don't remember did I mention on the show, or I was just talking about on the Discord. I don't remember. I only really had like 5 games for the PS2. Kingdom Hearts 1 as well. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2. I brought the games out. Okami, Final Fantasy 12, Guitar Hero 1 and 2. I think that was it. Like that the fact that I remember still to this day all the games I had is just example of how few of them I actually had. So I went back. I solicited some requests from the Discord a little bit of games that I should check out. So I played 2. Only one of them was actually on the list of recommendations, but that's because I already had Katamari Damacy. That was like for whatever reason, the first one that popped into my head of stuff I had never played before. And so I loaded that up. That was a good choice, mostly just because it's just like, it's so easy to just go into Katamari and just play it. It's very arcadey, set time limits on the levels, the most of them. And yeah, I don't know, it's just lovely and weird, and the songs are all good. And it was just, that's just a joyful game. I'll probably have to track down. I think were there sequels on PS2, or is it just other consoles? So
it's also a new one on the PC.
Yeah, the creator has he come up with a few other games too, which are very similar, that seem to strike that same type of nerve. But yeah, here you go.
Watan.
Yeah, Watan games. Here you go. Just roll around, pick up shit. It's a cool idea.
It's just so good. It's so silly and stupid. and it's so funny, just like how dog shit it looks on
Yep.
a YouTube video, and it's just like how different. I like the color. The colors look. Every single color looks incredibly washed out. Everything looks fucking just. Anti-aliasing is just different when it's on a CRT, and it's just so weird to watch this gameplay footage. And I'm like, this isn't what it looks like.
Better, I swear.
Yeah, it looks better, I swear. Ramblings of an insane person. But yeah, no, it was a. I don't know. I love the songs. My daughter came in when I was playing it one weekend, and she was just like fucking dancing.
Nice.
She just started. Yeah, she was just grooving to the song. She was really digging it, which was pretty funny. And yeah, Katamari's a lovely game. I'll pick up the other ones and give them a shot too. It's just so stupid and goofy. My wife, by the end of it, was like, "I feel it. I can feel the cosmos," which is like what the little girl does in between all the little cutscenes. And it's just so bizarre and stupid. It's a great game. And then I went and I played and then beat Shadow of the Colossus. So
Game.
well known, obviously, as kind of like one of the PS2 heavy hitters. It struggles playing it back now. I know that I talked about it last week, I think, because I had beaten like 3 of the Guardians. But listen, I got all the way through it, which is nice because it only took about 8 hours. But which is the perfect length for a game like this, because it feels so complete. Playing it on original hardware helps a little bit. Not trying to upscale it to HD helps a lot. But the frame rate, it called me spoiled in this day and age. It's like going back. Yeah, thanks. It's like going back and playing GoldenEye and realizing that you're trying to play a game at like 11 FPS, right? Just on a pure sprite pixel game, totally different story when you have low FPS. On a game like this, there are a couple of the Guardian fights which are in like really sandy environments, and when the Guardian kicks up sand, I swear I had sub 10 FPS like many times, and you're trying to dodge shit, and the game is I can't see my dude. I don't know if I'm moving or not anymore because the whole screen is sand. But at the same time, it was a technical marvel in its own right. Regardless of that, it's just like the game is just steeped in aesthetic choices, which is probably its true hallmark, which is everlasting, regardless of the frame rate issues. But it's a triumph of design. Really, really cool to build a game like this. I mean, this is after Final Fantasy X, right?
Yeah, yeah. Final Fantasy X was a launch title.
No, 10 was the launch title?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Close, yeah.
All right. Anyway, so I mean, you're talking about like you go from Final Fantasy X, which was just, I mean, obviously it was a JRPG, but very narrative heavy. All the voice, one of the first with voice acting or full voice acting, and then you get this game, which is, there's an intro cutscene, and then the rest of the game is like, here's the next Guardian, and then you just go like that's all the story that you get. And so it literally just has to subside purely on your experience with it, really.
You're gonna drown.
I didn't even know you could dive. I never tried.
Wait, how did you beat the eel or the 2 fish without diving?
I don't know. I did some. I made it come to I made it come up, and then I jumped on its back when it was out of the water.
Well, I think there's 2 of those where you have to like grab onto like the horn.
Yeah.
Underwater. No,
they come up. I made them come up, and then I grabbed onto them when they were above ground, and then I just held on. I never dove. And I would say that it was some weird thing, but I played it on the original hardware, so I know it's not. But yeah, I mean, like it's a very cool game. Really. It would have been sick. Everything else exactly the same, except that the PS2 hardware could handle it, and it played at like even just solid 30 FPS would have been an incredible experience. But yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of games that take about 8 hours to complete, this is like, it doesn't get much better. It felt like all the Guardians are cool. The overall story, even though there's very little of it, is good and interesting.
You've been fooled.
pretty much the game in a nutshell. You fool! You fell for it.
Oh no!
No. And then the last thing was, I think I mentioned it, but I didn't really go into it very much. Is that I installed Windows on my Steam Deck, which was interesting, not too hard, but time consuming.
Yeah. Okay. I want to know about this. Yeah.
Especially with all the updates and everything like that. Just installing Windows and getting like Windows to boot was probably like 40 minutes. And then getting everything updated and then installing all the shit you needed to make it work, the extra drivers, because not everything auto installs because of how specific the hardware is. It was probably like an extra 2 hours after the fact. And then troubleshooting. Did I talk about this part where Persona 5 would not launch? So
you told me.
Okay, so I got Persona 5 working through Windows through Game Pass.
All right,
it works. It boots the first time.
Yeah,
and then I shut it down. I come back to it a little bit later in the day, and it doesn't boot anymore. It doesn't launch. I click play through the Xbox app, just nothing happens. But now it's running Windows, and I know how to troubleshoot Windows. So I'm loading applications. There's a Microsoft application called Process Explorer, which you can like look for specific files and see if it's actually launched. Anyway, so I see that it's launching a file that's supposed to run it, and then it runs it for like 60 seconds, and then it just doesn't do anything, and then it closes. Don't know why. I managed to find a Reddit post, specifically somebody trying to run Persona 5 Royal through Game Pass on Steam Deck in Windows. And nobody replied to him. He replies to himself and says, I figured it out. I changed the date and time from auto to manual, and then I set it, and now it boots.
Oh, wow.
And sure enough, I clicked play. It didn't work. I thought I had set it, but it turns out I turned it to manual, but then the time was still wrong. I changed the time to be the correct time, and then it literally launched without me doing anything else because it was just sitting there trying. Long story short, pretty sure it's de novo. The DRM is just doing a date check time. Logic, like it's probably a driver thing with Steam Deck because time clock is like associated with a processor driver, usually like a CPU driver. There could be something that's just not loading properly or something like that. It's a Windows issue basically. But anyway, so that being said, obviously Persona 5 Royal is kind of like a sweet spot for getting it to run on hardware like this because it was originally made to run on a PS2. But it looks great on Steam Deck. And now I can load up all of my other Game Pass games and run them on there too.
PS3, sir?
That's exactly what I
did I say 4?
You said PS2.
Did I? Mm-hmm. I got PS2 on the brain. No, that was Persona 3 FES. Right?
Coming soon to Game Pass.
Oh, that's right. It is coming soon to Game Pass.
It is, yeah.
And then what? Persona 4 was the end of the PS2.
First. No, I think 4 was at the end.
At the end of PS2, yeah.
So they did 3 and 4, then they teased 5 for the PS3, and I was like, "Ooh, can't wait to play this on the PS3."
It did eventually come, but didn't they like dual launch it? It was like same day PS3 and PS4.
It was like a year
Was it
into
really?
it was like a year into the PlayStation 4, maybe 2 years into the PlayStation 4, where they dual launched.
No different than what they're doing now.
It was 2017.
Right.
It was 2017 because the Switch just came out. Yeah, the Switch just was out, and people were like, "Where's the Switch port?" They're like, "We have a PS3."
And then you're like, "Wait 5 years, bud." But yeah, no, I am excited to get to get it Game Pass working on the Steam Deck, because it's one of those things where as I want to play things more portably, and then I kind of started on Game Pass, and I'm like, how do I want to go when I know that I can't use it in both places at once? But at least with the saves, auto transferring and all that stuff, cloud saving with Game Pass, and I don't have to worry about that. So happy about that. It's a good time.
Wow.
Excellent.
It was a nice little technical puzzle to solve. Dali, I'm ready to help you whenever you want.
For sure. I'm excited. I want to get into some of these. So I want to get the Game Pass stuff running on that Steam Deck. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. We can say that for another day. Because
let's do it right now.
Do it right now on this show. No, it is the week of Thanksgiving. Let me put this on right here. That we can start with the Gobble Gobble.
Did your daughter buy that for you, Dali?
No, I bought it for myself a few years ago. Of course, I bought it. It's Thanksgiving week here in the U.S., so that means lots of food for whoever wants food. Whoever doesn't want food, you can watch football and play video games, which was what I always used to do. Other than that, that's basically it for. I'm gonna try to get a good. Here, let me do this way. Yeah, that's good. That's it for us. You can find us at SideQuesting.com, SideQuesting TV on YouTube and Twitch, SideQuesting.something at Mastodon. You can find us individually on the Discord, because the Discord is really the place you want to go to. And we're on Hive. We're trying that Hive thing. But
we're buzzing.
We're buzzing, man. I've been buzzing on some of the NyQuil. So, other than that, Taylor, Zach, thank you guys for joining tonight. It was cool. Good chats, good stuff, good games. I look forward to more. And gobble gobble, everybody.
Yeah, all of another PS2 game ready for us next week.
There you go. We'll have Pokemon to talk about next week as well. With that said, we'll see you all on the next episode of The Side Quest. Goodbye, everybody.